Welcome back to episode. Well, welcome back to the Use Your Head podcast. Jeez, that was
God, this guy took a day
yeah,
or took a week off. You just suddenly lost all of it, huh?
that's everything, dude. I
That's
lost everything.
crazy. That's
Yeah, welcome back to the Use Your Head podcast with Riyan and Nikhil. What is this episode like
episode
five?
five. Episode five. Yeah.
Five. Man, we were really rolling through this, dude. It's funny. I have some friends over at just over in New York, and I was talking to them about making a podcast when we were starting to do this.
hmm
But like, dude, we actually wanted to make a podcast. I'm just like, yeah, you guys are all talk. You guys are all talk. You guys are not going to do it. And they bought their mics and they sent me the screenshot of them buying their mics. And then like I didn't respond to them for a day.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm sorry because I was just sleeping on this podcast you guys are making. And then like they made a video going like, yo, like we're starting a podcast, guys. Don't sleep on us. I'm just like, dude, they definitely directed this to me because of all the shit I gave them first for like not starting a podcast and now they're actually starting and all. But like shout out them, you know. But dude, yeah. How was last week? You
Last
know?
week was fun. Last week was fun. We had Aniket substitute for you, and we had Sahil on the pod as well, which was really nice. It was good to it was good to see him, talk to him again. Number one, but number two, we had some like pretty interesting conversations. They
Yeah, I
love
didn't
the gift, the Coke
Coca-Cola.
Oreo. Yeah,
That's fair. Dude, I didn't even get to see too much. I only saw a few clips that you sent like a little before this episode.
yeah,
But
yeah.
no, I think that like I mean I still need to see the video or the entire podcast. I need to see the entire thing.
hmm
Uh no, I'm sure it went well, especially how was Anakin as a host? I feel like he was definitely not that great. There's no way. There's like no way.
Oh, he was good. No Anakin slander. Okay, we're not gonna do that. Absolutely
Okay, fine, fine.
not. He was good. He was good. I will say though, the flow of it and like the way this podcast has been going and everything definitely felt different from when you were here or when you are here, right?
I get that.
Um, dude, you do a really good job of like the pacing is what we noticed.
For
And
real.
even after we were done recording, we were saying that like me, Sahil, and Anakin, we're all saying
Oh, really?
um, it's like even me, like all three of us, we're not very like like go with the flow conversation type people, or at least not to the level that you are.
Okay.
So it was like it was choppy. Like we had our topics and everything. We knew what we wanted to talk about, but
Yeah.
the segues weren't as natural as when you're on the pod running it as well.
No, I get that.
So
No, yeah, I mean, I feel like for me, that first episode zero was definitely, whoa, episode zero was just us talking. That was fun.
yeah,
There was like no real like I don't know, topics to be discussed. We just kept talking, like how it's supposed to be.
yeah, and then
But
that was a test too. We weren't even like planning on doing anything with it. So,
yeah.
but
So I think, I mean, in due time, I feel like if Anakin ever does host again, or let's say Saho does, like, I mean, it was a trial and error for me, and it still is. But no, I appreciate those words, man. Dude, I was thinking about that one shout out I had to Davina, that one podcast like 2 episodes ago,
yeah,
and then how I was talking about doing podcasts on Saturday, and I feel like I didn't do justice to that kind of conversation. You know, I was thinking about it before. I was like, man, it's Saturday. I gotta do the podcast. And I was like, you know what? Like, I listen to podcasts. Okay, which podcast do you listen to? I forgot. I think I asked you this before.
I really don't listen to him. I'll be honest. I listened to like there was a Zach Lowe podcast for ESPN.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah, he got fired by ESPN like 2 days ago, yesterday or
ESPN's
something.
going downhill. They now
Yeah,
Woke's gone. Like, oh,
well,
I
fuck
think I
him.
got Shams, bro.
No,
Woj,
Shams. Wait, Shams is not ESPN. Shams is
he's Insider Athletic, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Something like
yeah.
that. Yeah, that's so crazy that Woj is gone from ESPN. He
hmm
was he was like an icon. He was like bigger than like Stephen A. Like in terms of like
Bro,
ESPN,
yes, yes.
you know?
And he was like, okay, ESPN now is like they just do it for views, and all of like their analysts and their reporters and everybody are just doing it for attention more than anything. Stephen A is like such an attention getter type of reporter. Whether you think he's good or not,
Uh-huh.
he's very like polarizing, right?
Yeah.
You turn on like first take and you see him like the Knicks are sucks, the Dallas Cowboys, like
Yeah, we, we
it's
don't we don't we don't like seeing Stephen A like that. He's such a media personality. Like I don't think
exactly,
he's a good
yeah.
analyst. And Anakin like dick rides Stephen A. It's actually so annoying the fact that he dick rides him so much. And I think he's like such a terrible analyst because he just says outlandish stuff and just
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
fired by just like doing outlandish like activities where whether
hmm
with his hands or with his voice and just like using his like crazy like facial expressions or whatever. I hate it. I think just be an analyst. I think a great analyst, for example, is Chris Bouchard. Great
Okay.
analyst. I think he knows what he's talking about. Who's another great analyst? JJ Redick is probably the best analyst I've seen.
I'd agree with that. He was really good.
You know, it's
Before
kind of
before.
Yeah.
Before what?
Again, like now another person from ESPN gone, That's
Yeah,
JJ
yeah.
Redick, but I mean, he's got a good role. He's still gonna be in the sports space, like how Woj is. But like, you probably won't be seeing that's another good analyst, good reporter gone, good voice for ESPN. Like, and also you're seeing the whole thing with fantasy football, where no one's gonna use ESPN fantasy football. Everyone's now using like Sleeper
hmm
or I forgot what else do people use? The fantasy football app for NFL that they do.
Yeah. So I mean, our league is on Yahoo, but we've been on Yahoo like for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
years. But we've considered switching. Dude, my draft and everything that I did for the draft, like preparing for it, I looked at Fantasy Pros and they have their own rankings and everything.
Yeah.
Like I don't trust the Yahoo like little thing that shows up.
That's true.
Like
It's
I
also Yahoo. I
yeah,
feel like Yahoo and ESPN aren't like the greatest indicators for
exactly. I don't think Yahoo anything is good
I
nowadays.
heard
Like
Yahoo
what
Finance is great though. Like I listened to
uh,
this one podcast.
hmm.
It's called Morning Daily Brew. That's like the number one
Oh,
podcast.
I've heard it. I've heard it.
It's
Yeah.
like pretty famous. They give like good economical news updates. I feel like a lot of t times we talk about current events, it's like stem from their podcast because they have all this stuff. Just like they find the craziest facts. Like the whole thing about like Circle K being bought out or Circle K buying out like 7-Eleven or like I don't know, they had some crazy or like the fact that teens aren't driving as much today anymore
hmm
or there was some other crazy stuff that they like the whole well, this is not that underground, but the whole thing about the Telegram CEO, which did you have the whole Telegram CEO thing?
I no, I've not. I think I have. But
It's like
describe it. Describe it.
it's like I don't know the entire story, but the CEO is kind of like under fire because Telegram was like used for like some sort of sex trafficking or something like that.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
and it was
Really?
like it's not good. Like I don't know the entire story or anything, but like it was some sort of trafficking of some sort, and I'm pretty sure it was sex trafficking. But you can't.
That's
Like
messed up.
that's
Yeah.
pretty bad. Yeah. And it's kind of wild for such a big like messaging app. I think you were the one that told me that it's probably one of the biggest in the world. Like right
Yeah,
next
it's I'm pretty sure it's huge in India, and that's why.
Yeah.
Um, there was like a big deal with the like WhatsApp. Obviously, okay, all of like the aunties and uncles are on WhatsApp, and that's like a running joke in the brown community. But I think a while ago, and I could be wrong here, but I remember like my dad telling me that WhatsApp had like some sort of legal issue with like encryption and end-to-end encryption of messages and stuff. And people in India are very like wised up to that, and they don't like it when their messages and stuff like that are encrypted. It's a much bigger thing there versus the US. At least, like I don't hear anybody talking about like if their messages are encrypted or not here. Well, or I don't see a lot of people caring about it as nearly as much.
Yeah, because
But
also I feel like yeah, what are you gonna say?
no, but so when that happened with WhatsApp, everyone was looking for another messaging app to jump to, and they jumped to Telegram, right? Because that was their thing. Like when they started, it was like, yeah, we're fully encrypted, fully secure, like all of
Yeah.
it's fine.
But I
Um,
guess now they're not.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
like he's like worth 9 billion plus dollars. I think that's what they said. I don't know
hmm
the I should be saying numbers if I don't know them, but I'm gonna say them anyway. Like $9 billion, dude. Um, but what's it called? We don't talk about it in the US because I guess we have iMessage and like we also know about Apple security and privacy is pretty good. So I guess with nothing that we have to worry about. But
hmm
also like how good can it really be? If you ever got like scam emails or spam calls or whatever,
I
it's
still
probably
get them. I get them all the time.
it's
Yeah,
probably because your phone number was like leaked in a data breach or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, for
Mm.
sure. And that's just how it goes. But
But I mean, yeah. But like back to this whole podcast thing, right? Um, people don't make podcasts on Saturdays. I feel like we did not do justice to that sort of conversation because Morning Daily Brew, I listen to it every single day in the gym. And I go to the gym every single day, you know? So
nice little flex. Yeah, yeah.
no, try to. Actually, this past weekend, I did not do with work and everything. I'll get to that. But like, I did not know how bad the 5 o'clock like window is.
See,
I had no idea
bro,
it was so
it's
bad.
bad. It's bad.
Oh, I've never been to the gym like around that time, like 5 to 7 o'clock. I've never seen a gym that bad.
Yeah,
Like
bro.
it's I also try to wake up like earlier, like 6.
hmm
Also, like I don't like waking up early. Like I do not. Like I'd rather sleep than I guess work out, which is a bad thing. I need to work. I guess it's been a week I haven't worked out. It's kind of bad. Anyway, let's get to that part at some point. But I listen to podcasts every single day, and that includes Saturday and Sunday. But the thing is, people don't release podcasts on Saturdays and Sundays because it's their off days or whatever. So
hmm
do people justice. For the people that listen to podcasts every single day, We drop on Saturdays just for them. Just people like me that do listen to, like, let's say there's a road trip going on, you know? You
Yeah.
need podcasts and you listen to podcasts all the time, and people take road trips all the time on the weekends. So we provide that substance in their life,
There
you
you
know?
go. Yeah. Yeah. We do that for
We do
you,
that.
for the viewer.
The what is it? Are we at 12 now? 12 viewers, maybe?
12 viewers?
I think so, man.
No,
I
no,
think,
no, no, no. It's more. It's more.
oh, really?
Trust it's more.
I hope so.
We can have our little check-in right now because I know we did this a while ago.
Yeah. Let's see the growth of the platform.
So on YouTube, right? We are oh shit, you're right. You're at 12 subscribers.
Oh yeah, actually 12. I made that number up.
So 12 subscribers.
I made that up. I like made that up.
But the views are going up, which is great.
Really?
So you mentioned to me a while ago that we should start posting on YouTube Shorts, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I have been, and just basically the same clips that we put on Instagram and then TikTok just go on YouTube Shorts as well, and those are doing great. For YouTube, they get like around what 500, 600 views,
Oh, that's
which
pretty
is
good.
really good, and then that drives the viewership to the actual episode, right?
Yeah.
Um, Episodes are lower, that's expected, but
Yes.
they're sitting at like 60, 50, still pretty good for an hour-long episode,
Yeah.
right?
But like us just yapping.
Yeah, exactly, right. So
Unless
um
like you're like, I don't know, a friend of Sahil's that probably wouldn't know us. That goes like, oh, like I'm always on this episode, check it out. Or same with the Anikit, same thing with the Kosh, you know.
mhm.
But yeah, I feel like it's a good thing though. I mean, again, yeah, it's cool, you know what I'm saying? Just to
No,
see that.
definitely, definitely.
I feel like we're so much more official with this new logo. Again, shout out to Vina.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah, for sure. That definitely changed things here.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel
but
like I'm an actual podcaster at this point.
yeah,
Like
no, dead ass. Yeah.
everything, you know.
But on that note, so like TikTok and Instagram have been pretty stable since even the first one. We've been sort of averaging out at like a 900 to 1,000 on pretty much everything,
Oh, okay.
on everything, which is great, right? And I'm very happy with that viewership. I don't now being real, like I don't care if it goes up or down or whatever.
We don't really
Like,
care.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
It,
it's just nice to know that the people that we know and the people that we want to be watching are watching and like it, right? And that's what matters more than anything. So,
it is cool to see, you know, that like at least because we don't do it for that, but we it's fun to see every now and then. You know, last time we checked was what, a few weeks ago, like not even like
mhm.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah,
It's cool. But again, like that whole thing about Saturday. But also for the people that are watching on YouTube, they can probably see that I got this whole setup changed. So, you know, I started work this past week
mm.
and
Clap
I
it
would
up, clap it up.
no, hold up. I gotta
There we
yes.
go. We can't even hear it,
Yes.
but yeah.
Oh, you can't. Okay, well, I was clapping. Um, so I started work this past week, right? And let me tell you, orientation week. I mean, you work, you probably know how it all is.
Hmm.
Feels like school.
Yep.
Feels like I not even college, school, like high school. Like I walk into my, you know, I walk into the conference room that's like a feels like a classroom. Like we're at tables, you
Yeah,
know.
bro. Yeah.
I have assigned seats, you know, because they have a name tag for me. And you know, we do icebreakers, you know. Oh, like, what's your name? Where did you go to college? And I feel like I'm having the same conversation with everybody.
Yeah.
Not to
No,
hate them.
that's
Also, like to them, like they're a cool cohort. Like I feel like I like the people that I have met. Again, it's gonna take time to obviously like become more comfortable with them and like them with me and I'm with them. But you know, it's we do icebreakers. We have like a teacher, you know. We I don't even know. Like we listen to presentations and lectures about the Accenture company because I work at Accenture Federal. Well, we like listen to like things about Accenture. We take notes. We have quizzes at the end of the day to
yep.
like we're not even quizzes. They call it knowledge checks. It's a
It's a
quiz.
quiz. Yeah, it's a quiz.
We have like lunch breaks, like, and then we go home with our backpacks. Like it's literally school, bro.
Hmm.
Like this past week was literally school. And the reason I'm home is because my thing with, and I think I talked, we talked after the podcast about this, but my work is flying me to St. Charles, Chicago, or St. Charles, Illinois, which is super close to Chicago. I mean, super close in air quotes, where it's just like a suburb of Chicago. It's kind of like how Leesburg is to like DC, so it's pretty far. But I'm flying out of IED tomorrow morning, so I decided to come here, like come to my Nova home, which is like 5 minutes away from IED, to fly out from here. So. That's why the setup is different for me. I had to, I mean, it's not as cool, but I'm at home and it's comfortable. But also, my parents are gone. I'm home alone here, you know. So I like living at DC because my brother is at least there, someone to talk to. But this entire day, it's just been like wake up, go to the gym, eat some food, watch some TV. I should do some work, like because like consulting and all. You know, I gotta make sure I'm on top of my shit. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
But that's my first week was kind of lame. But I mean, I'm going to Chicago.
yeah,
So Chicago isn't like St. Charles. I call it Chicago because like it's easier because I don't remember St. Charles as much as I remember the name of Chicago. But it's cool. It's cool. You know, we out here now.
I'll tell you
We
what, it's gonna creep on you fast. Okay, so the first week and everything, and like, granted, I can say all this because it's been 3 months for me, and we're like now really entrenched in the work and everything. There's just like at some point, I don't know the nature of your work either, but at some point, like the 3 week, 4 week period, there's just gonna be a flip. Like the switch is just gonna flip, and then all of a sudden it's work like straight. Like you're expected to hit deadlines and do this and do that and everything, and it happens so much quicker than you think, right? So in one way, like, and I have like a negative connotation to it because I don't like my job, but there's it's like a um the school feeling will go away pretty quick, at least in my experience, right? And we were the same way, except with Epic, it was a lot more college style. And the company itself is, and I've said this before, it's super young company, big, like it is a campus. We're in the middle of buttfuck Wisconsin.
yeah.
Madison's the capital of Wisconsin. I don't know if you know that.
Wait,
It's
I did not know.
dude, isn't that crazy? Like,
Basically, live in the capital of Wisconsin right
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Wow. Like,
Did
and
you mention it last podcast for me?
I
Just to like,
did. We did.
thank you. Thank you. I
No
appreciate
worry. I even told Anakin, I was like, yeah, this is the tradition. Like, we got to mention at some point.
it. Thank you. You know, heartwarming, you know?
Yeah,
Oh,
but um, because it's a very young company, right? And because they pretty exclusively hire like fresh college grads for the jobs.
oh.
They focus a lot on training, and the trainings are like lecture styles in a lecture hall, and there are like quizzes, and they're actually no, they're exams. Like you go to an exam room and it's like proctored. It's a whole deal.
Proctored
Um,
exams at a
at a
company.
company, and I've taken like seven of them, like easily,
That's so
you know.
crazy.
And honestly, only now am I hitting like the end of my training requirements, and it's been 3 months. So that's specific to me though. That's like a very specific to Epic thing. They're just OD about like a lot of different things. But I'd say for you, and especially in the consulting realm,
Mhm.
it's going to happen quick. Like it's going to happen almost overnight to where you're going to shift to straight like work, and it's not going to feel like it's going to feel very corporate very soon. It's not going to feel like school anymore.
I feel like that makes sense though, because I guess this is onboarding where, they're like teaching us like, oh, like, how to file your taxes or, 401k plans, benefits, PTO, how this whole thing works and everything.
Yep.
And then, like I get say, it's the basic stuff. And then, because after training, so my training is 4 weeks. I finished first week just to like this past week, 2 weeks in Chicago, like 2 weeks in St. Charles, which is kind of wild if you think about it.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's a long time. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm there for 2 weeks. I have no idea. It's like I don't know where exactly like this whole place is, but apparently they have a basketball court there, they have a pickleball court or whatever. Like it feels like a small little college campus, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I'm like I'm not expecting too much. I feel like it can be that crazy. But also I get what is it? Like limo service from O'Hare to St.
Oh,
Charles. Yeah,
okay.
kind of crazy. I've never been in a limo before. Well, I think I might have been in a limo for like those like car days at like elementary school and stuff. Like, oh, like look at this. It's like a truck or pickup truck. I don't even
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But
No,
it was a limo,
I know
you
what you're
know?
talking about. Yeah, yeah.
And I remember when I was a kid too, when like those things happened, where like, oh, it's a car day or something like that. Like every time I saw a limo, I always went like, dude, there has to be someone famous in there. Like if I see a limo, that means there's somebody famous in there. And I remember I went inside a limo, when I was in that elementary school place, like phase, and I saw someone in there that was like an adult and was like, this dude, I don't know who this dude is, but he is definitely famous. And like, he was probably some random dude. Like it definitely could not have been anything like more than just like a random like person that was in a limo. But in my mind, I was like getting like, oh, oh, it's Drake. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's yeah, like
Why do we always default to Drake, bro? What is it?
imagine if Drake was there in that limo though. No, actually, no, we can't think about that. We can't think about that. We
No, we're not
cannot.
doing this shit again, bro.
But like,
But
imagine,
like Drake, what? Why are you here? Hey,
why is he at an elementary school? Actually, we can't bring that up. We can't
hold on,
bring that up.
hold on,
We can't
hold
bring
on,
that up. Especially with
hold
the
on,
allegations about Drake. Like, we cannot bring that up.
hold on. Yeah. Hey, so moving on.
Moving on, moving on, moving on, Dude, let me tell you about New York.
That was the next, yeah, that was the next thing I was gonna ask about. Yeah, yeah.
New York was kind of crazy, dude. So again, like this whole dance thing, it was a dance thing, and I was talking to it's Kathak, right? Kathak is a classical dance, and they made me do Kathak dance, and I don't
Oh
know,
wait, really? Oh wow. Okay.
it was kind of crazy,
Yeah.
and I wasn't expecting to do Kathak on the first practice, but also like I go like it's a cool opportunity, and let me just see it out, see how it goes, and if I wanted to back out by the time I wanted to, I think it was going to be too late. But then again, I'm also glad I did not because I didn't want to back out. But I was texting one of my friends, their name is Maloney. And I was just like, dude, I am not good at this at all. Because the first practice, we like changed so much of the choreo after the first practice.
Hmm.
Practice, I'm just like, dude, Kathak is not my thing. Like Kathak is not my thing at all. I didn't text Dathri about that. I was texting Dathri after the whole practice stuff. Because I go like, dude, Dathri, we need to hang out because I want to tell her about the whole classical stuff. Then like, oh, like I want to see like what she thinks about it. So if Dathri's listening, then we'll talk about that soon whenever we hang, But what's it called? Like I was doing Guthrie and I was texting Maloney like, "Yo, this is so hard." And she goes like, "Dude, I think you should just follow through with it." Like she was also having some difficulties and hard times too, but she goes like, "Just follow through with it. It'll be good. It'll be good." And I was getting grilled. Like
Mm.
first of all, shout out the person that made the choreo. Her name is Berna Auntie. So she's like an auntie, you know what I'm saying? And she did a fabulous job. She like does choreo for like some big name people in India and stuff. Like she's like done like choreo that has been done in movies and stuff.
Oh,
So
wow.
like she's like she knows what she's doing, like some Kathak stuff. Like she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, yeah.
She was like like an ideal like captain, quote unquote, where she like showed love to her kids, showed love to like everything, but then she was super stern and super hard on you whenever you needed to be. But you needed that. Like you needed that
No,
because you
definitely.
can't
Yeah,
get
yeah.
better without it. And I was definitely getting grilled the most because I think the dance style that we're used to is so entirely different. Like so entirely different than Kathak. Because that's so like strict on placement, this and that. Bhangra, like the one that we probably do the most on the road. It's not that like not that serious.
I mean, it is definitely strict. I don't want to make it sound like it's not, but
True. Yeah.
yeah, no, you're right. Kathak is like a whole different level.
Yeah.
Classical in general is just whole different level.
Whole
And
different.
you
Oh,
don't for the longest time, especially with us being on Varroth, like we've always strayed away and we never even touched the classical segment, and we didn't even want to, right?
yeah.
And as a result of it, you almost lose respect for it in a lot of ways, which
Hmm.
is fucked up, honestly. I think it's probably the most difficult, I think, style wise.
In my experience now that I have experienced it, I would say so.
Yeah, yeah. And so there's a team at VT actually, who relatively new team. Oh my gosh, what's her
Oh,
name?
classical team?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Villa VT Villa Sana, something like that. I forget. But um one of the captains of that team is actually a PhD student in biomedical engineering, and I had classes with her
Oh.
for a while. And you know, so to go a little bit off topic, but like the four main teams, the four big teams at VT are what us, Junoon, Bungar Dhamal, right? And it's rather clicky, right? You know everybody on those four teams, and it's like we'd have like four team parties and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? So them being classical and also them being kind of like removed from everything as far as like the Indian community, classical in nature, like the people who do it are very much more committed to the art and the style than the people in these four teams who are doing it just for like the experience and the competition, you know? So they were very removed from it.
Mhm.
Um, but I reached out to her and I was like, hey, like, shoot, because they wanted to get more members and stuff, and they were very new and like same boat that we were in at one point.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Um, I
Yeah.
was just explaining like, hey, talk to like the four captains or the captains of these four teams. Talk
Mhm.
to SIA, talk to like everybody so you get that audience. Because there's definitely people there, you know? And that's the main brunt of like where you
Yeah.
should be looking. But in conversations with her and like looking at their team and everything, like you gain so much more appreciation for how hard it is, and how
That's
much like it matters, or not even how much it matters, but like uh, how much goes into it. You know,
yeah. There's a
we
lot that goes into it.
we
Like,
like we sit here and talk about like how hard it was for us to do like our competitions and our practices and shit, but for them, it arguably is more of a physical toll on them. because you're worried about every individual angle, and like hand placements and everything. It's
Yeah, everything.
yeah,
And I guess that's
I've
what I meant about the whole thing with Bunga, where like Bunga is supposed to like keep this whole like gracefulness, flow, like the whole thing with Munde, right? I think Vion told me about. Um, with bouncing your shoulders and everything, where it's just like you're like flowing or bumping like to Bunga, right? Like you make it kind of individualistic in that sense. You can't really make that. Well, you can, I'm sure. I just don't know how you would. But for to me, like in my experience, the weekend that I was dancing Kathak, like it's very strict. It is very strict.
I think
So,
the way to describe it for me was like the barrier to entry for classical is way higher
mm,
comparatively to everything else. You can pick up Bhangra and you can pick up
for sure.
hip hop, obviously. You can pick
Yeah.
up all of the styles that we did in a like you can do it, and I like tryouts is the best example. Like these kids picked it up, they like in the span of 2 3 days.
Yeah.
I don't think you could do that with classical. It's just
Yeah.
hard.
It's
So
kind of
actually, how did you do it then? I guess that's the next
it
question.
was not like the good thing was though like none of the so there was not a lot of guys doing it and pretty much the girls took the entire show, which I'm glad they did because the girls did an amazing job. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think there was like seven guys,
Mm.
seven, and then like double the amount of girls, you know. So um the guys had very, very, very simple moves. So thankfully we had that. But at the same time, as much as simple as it was, I was correcting myself every single time I did it
Mm.
because it was you had to have the right placement. You had to write the right you had to have the correct sort of angles for your elbows and whatever it is. So I had to really like hone in on that. But the girls did super well because every girl that was there, not every girl, but mostly every girl that was there that was doing it was classically trained in whether it be Bharatanatyam or Kathak. No one really did anything else like Kuchipudi or anything like I don't know the other ones,
Mhm.
um but the thing with the entirety of the dance was like it was cool, but we are told that we're going to be like dancing like for Modi and stuff, like this whole big
Yeah.
con India, right?
Hmm.
The best way I would describe it, first of all, they rented out like the the G League team for like the Nets stadium, which is like it's cool, but also like it was so interesting. Like, like when Indian run things or like run, it feels like so disorganized because
Yes.
the person's
Yes.
saying one thing and the next person saying another thing, and you don't know who to follow because everybody wants to be in charge. So that one next person that's trying to be in charge, like they don't understand the sort of order of the hierarchy because when one person hears something or assumes something, they act like they know that and kind of just go with the flow. It's this whole thing with the Indian culture that is kind of annoying. And like no matter what any organization you're part of, I feel like you're
Yeah.
experience it at some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
So it was pretty disorganized from not okay, not pretty dis it was some people were organized, some people were disorganized. We were getting told to come in and out of rooms like so many times. But the best way I would describe the entire dance, think of it like you're at a tech game or a Wizards game or whatever, right? And there's a timeout going on, right? And in that timeout, people are going to go get like
Food
drink,
and like yeah,
food,
yeah.
talk to the friends, pick up the phone, go to the bathroom, whatever. And there's a timeout performance that's like 30 seconds long. Our dance was 3 minutes. And you know, like Modi's like the main event, like he's the game.
Yeah, yeah.
But like it was kind of like we were just like put on that sort of stage. I thought we were gonna be dancing like while he's like while he's present. But I guess logistically it wouldn't make sense because it's a security threat. It's a security risk if you have him just like out in the open for too long or especially in a stadium where like caves in, right? Like the
No,
stadium
for sure.
high to low.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a security thing where you can't have him just be open like that for too long. I'm sure I'm just guessing these sort of things. But basically what happened was Modi didn't come until after every sort of organization performed. And there was around like 15, 16 organizations that performed. And we were number nine. So it was like it was not like a comp where there's like a little bit of time in between each one, but it was like this one after this one after this one. Like one person goes, one person leaves, one person goes, one person leaves. Like one person
Mm.
is one group.
Okay.
Our group went and left. And it was still cool to dance. Like it was still the biggest crowd I ever performed in front of, but it was not like 13,000, 24,000 people. The stadium could fill that much, but it was before Modi came, so not a lot of people were there before.
Okay.
But it was cool, but I was kind of like, oh, I'm gonna dance in front of Modi, but I wasn't.
And that's what you said. Okay. When
Yeah,
you
that is what I
like
said.
2 weeks ago, you're like, so get this. I'm gonna be dancing for Moldy. And then like you
I
you like drop the mic and everything. You were hella proud.
I was so cool. I was like it's like hella controversial or whatever, but like I'm doing it for like the mission, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing it for my peoples.
Mm-hmm.
And I still did, so I'm still glad I did that, you know. Shout out the mission. I think that like they're really cool people and like what it stands for is really cool and everything too. But I mean, that's what I was told. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was told. I'm just like, I'm dancing for Moldy. There's no way, bro. Let me tell everybody. Let me put this on the podcast. Like, you're not gonna believe it. Like, I'm gonna get a sub on everything. Like, bro, like bombshell dropped.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have to pick it up because that was not that cool. Like, okay, it was cool, but like it was not as gravity like holding, you know? So I mean,
Well, I have to say, I, for one, am massively disappointed. Okay. I'm
oh,
absolutely let down. And I speak for all the viewers here when I say that, you sold us a dream, and I'm mad. I'm angry. And I'm
I
so I can't take this anymore, dude. I'm sorry. It's just
and I just want to say that like I know I probably let you guys down, but that doesn't take away from my top five status. You know?
that's what you're worried about.
Never gonna take away from that, you know? That's like I'm still top five no matter what.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just
But
power
I'm top
rankings.
five.
We'll be back next week. It's fine.
It's like what Jason Tatum said. We're like, I'm just top five. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like top five what? He was like, top five. He's top five. Like, I couldn't
So
care.
you know what? I think that's a great segue to a bit of some NBA, some hoop conversation here.
Oh my God.
Uh, for our viewers, literally right before we clicked record, I had taken some notes just for like some bullet points we want to talk about in the pod, right? And I wrote on there that Karl Anthony Towns has been traded or is in talks to be traded to the Knicks. And Big Homie over here was just in New York and didn't even realize that that happened.
When
So
this happened, like what I had no idea he was on the Knicks. I
yeah,
had
well,
no idea he got traded.
so I don't think it's final yet. I could be wrong, but this because Woj is not reporting on it anymore, so I don't
Yeah, who
know.
knows what to do with that, you know?
I'm fairly certain that like if Shams is saying it, because Shams did say it. If he said it, then it's probably true. I would assume so.
I mean,
But
Sham, yeah, he's the next Woj. Yeah.
so yeah, honestly. So the trade here is the Knicks have acquired Karl Anthony Towns from Minnesota for Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and a first round pick via Detroit. So
Is
your
that
thoughts?
dude? Is that dude? Did the Knicks like fleece or like who got fleeced?
Okay, so let's think about this, right? Randall was cool, but they've got went and got Mikal Bridges, so they don't need Randall necessarily anymore,
That's
right?
true.
So that's fine. I get that.
Yeah.
They realistically looking at their roster, the one like roster spot that they need to fill for like star power, and that's not even a necessity, but sure,
Yeah.
it was center or it was that power forward area.
That's true.
They're gonna
Because
play him at the five. Like, there's no way they
Randall,
don't play him at the five. I don't think.
yeah, who would be? Because they don't got Hartenstein anymore.
Fucking Mitchell Robinson. I don't know. Like,
That means Cat plays at the four, or does Mitchell Robinson play at the four?
I don't know. That's the thing, and so that's very interesting. Here is the thing.
I feel like Cat would be like a stretch four because Mitchell Robinson's such a classic center where he's
Yeah,
getting
or they just go like complete small ball, put him at the five, and just like five out offense at that point. Him, McHale, Hart, Brunson, someone else I'm forgetting.
crazy line. Dude, the Knicks are fun, especially with the whole like roommates thing they got going on with those
Yeah,
things going on.
but
Like,
now see that takes a shot because Dante's gone now. So now the Nova Knicks are like down a member,
oh, that sucks. Oh,
right?
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm surprised the Timberwolves went with this. They were so close to going to the finals,
I know
and
they were like the
they were
one seed and
a few
everything, right?
pieces away. And they were now they're giving away pieces.
So what do you think the Wolves got better? So I think the Knicks got better, but do you
Yeah,
think the Wolves got better from this too?
I don't think the Wolves got better because
Yeah.
again, like Randall, he's been injured this past season for a little bit. He was injured
Mm-hmm.
before, and he's at this point kind of established himself as this fairly injury-prone player who is a star, but like is he a star that can be healthy? Like a star isn't like he's a at this point like a perennial all-star, if
Mm-hmm.
anything. You know, I don't think he's gonna be anything more than that, if a perennial all-star. So now it's all about Ant, but did I thought Ant and Cat worked pretty well together.
I also thought
And
that too. Yeah.
how I mean, they were finally starting to figure out him and Rudy Gobert. I would say you need a few pieces aside from those big three. I would say maybe Rudy Gobert. I mean, we have to see like maybe like stretching the floor a little bit more with the point guard or I don't know like because they got who's their point? Mike Conley, right?
Yeah, but I don't forget if he starts or not.
Yeah, I don't think he
It's
did. Or
either him or like fucking what's his name? Nikhil Alexander Walker.
Yeah, I think Nikhil came off the bench though.
Yeah. Okay,
There's like
so
Jaden McDaniels, but he also think I came. I think he came off the bench.
but he's not even a point. He's the three, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a
He's
three.
yeah.
Like because yeah, it's going down the whole like one to five. It's you know, point guard. There's basically the big three, right? They got they
Hmm.
got they got Ant, Cat, and then Rudy.
Gobert.
Gobert.
So
And then
like
they
two,
go
four,
with
five
Cat.
right there.
Yeah,
And then Jaden
they take
McDaniels a three.
yeah,
And
and then let's
then
say Mike Conley. Let's just say
yeah.
Mike was the one.
Yeah.
So they take away Cat,
Gobert.
Julius
Or sorry.
Randle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does
Which
that work better? I
no,
don't think that works better.
it
But now they
doesn't.
got Dante DiVincenzo. He can maybe run the one.
Yeah.
He's not a one. He's not a one at all. He's a
That's the
shooter.
thing.
He's a shooter.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like I'm confused by it, I'll be honest.
I mean, how is this Detroit pick unprotected? Is it lottery? Or is it
I don't know. It just says via Detroit.
man? That's a crazy trade, especially because the Randall contract was a very tradable contract. The Knicks
Hmm.
made it like that, so I guess they made it like that for this sort of future that they were planning for, where they get lucky with the Brunson, where he does stay. And also he does flourish into this amazing NBA player. They
Hmm.
get they get Josh Hart. I mean, they had Dante, but now they got Cat. They got a good roster. It just gonna. I don't know how to feel. I'm just surprised that Timberwolves
Like
traded
did that. Yeah, I'm surprised they
like
just did it in the
traded
first place.
because they were so close to the championship. Like they were so close to the finals.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if they would have won, but they were pieces away. Because in my mind, and I think that the three players this year going into the Western Conference was OKC because they got Caruso and Hartenstein now, and they're looking really good with Shea and Shea going to his second season, third season, no second season technically.
Hmm.
You know they got some potential on the OKC roster. Um, then you got the Nuggets obviously because you got Jokic, you
Yeah.
know,
And they
and
picked up Westbrook now too.
they got Westbrook, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
that's crazy. They got Westbrook, so they could do some damage. I mean, Westbrook's not crazy anymore. I mean,
Mm.
I know Atticus not gonna love me for
I
saying
was
that.
literally about to say that. Yeah.
Westbrook's a fucking dick rider, but like. The Nuggets were always in that conversation. I don't think Dallas can do it. I mean, we'll see. But I always thought that the Timberwolves with a cat and the Nuggets and the Thunder, they were going to be the teams that were going to do well with maybe potentially going. They were my three teams to go to the finals
Yeah.
next year.
Hmm.
I don't know if I take out the Thunder now, or not the Thunder, the Timberwolves now. I don't know if
I'd
I take
agree. I mean I don't see how OKC can get worse here, honestly, because they're like it's not the type of team where they just picked up a bunch of talent,
yeah,
where it's all just like all in house and it's all homegrown for the most part, and Shea just became that player.
yeah.
Um, I don't think they get worse. I really don't think they might record wise they might lose more games or something. Like
Yeah.
I'm
It
not
was a
looking at
crazy season they had.
yeah exactly. So I not purely record wise do I think like skill wise is my point here. Their team is not changing that much, and like you said, they've added Caruso and Hartenstein, who are like two comparatively better defensive players than what they had, right?
Agreed. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I just don't see how they can like dip that a lot like in a way that a lot of teams do. Like the Nuggets did this year, for example. Or
Hmm.
Nuggets did last year, where the year before they were like unstoppable at times, right? But last year they definitely did not seem like the same Nuggets team. And they got ripped apart by the Wolves, didn't they? So it's like I don't know. Yeah, you're right. You're right in the sense that I don't know why Minnesota would do that to themselves, like
It's so interesting. It's so because it worked. Like it worked. They beat the Nuggets.
mhm.
Like they beat the team that everyone thought was going to be favored to win, and they beat that team.
Yeah.
Cat was one of the biggest and major parts of doing that. To trade him away is so interesting. Like I want to know who's running their front office, and I just want to like pick their brain. And if it's stupid, I want to slap them. Like you got rid of someone that's like pretty fucking good.
Bro,
Like
he was that franchise before Ant got there, basically,
yeah.
right? He
And
was
to
like
be
the
fair,
one
it
thing.
wasn't much of a franchise before I
Yeah.
got there, but he was that franchise
Yeah.
at the same time. At the same time, he was.
So I
Um,
guess so we're talking about the West. So what about the East now? Do we consider the Knicks to be like the team in the East now?
that's a good question because I mean, you always got the Celtics. You can't because
Yeah.
they're going to be raining again. No, it's not raining again, but they have the chance to be.
Hmm.
The Knicks are all in that conversation because they went down in the second round, right? Again,
Yeah, yeah.
who'd they go down against? Not
Oh,
the Pacers. Was it the Pacers
it
or
was
because
the Pacers. It was the Pacers, yeah. Because they were just injured like crazy, if I remember.
yeah. So yeah, because the Knicks were injured, like because Brunson did go down. Yeah, that's 'cause that was such an unfortunate series. They could have gone to the conference finals. They would have lost.
They probably should have, yeah. But
Okay, so if they did get better, because I think we both think they got better, and they also got to the conference finals without Julius Randle.
mhm.
Now they have Cat, who is a better player than Julius Randle.
Okay, so see, they got better, but they lost depth. That was the thing, right?
Yeah, but I also think at the same time, like they got Tibbs anyway. Like Tibbs doesn't really
That's
care,
true. That is true.
you know?
Yeah.
That's such a it sucks to be a Knicks fan when no, okay, it's great to be a Knicks fan. But like it sucks when the Knicks have so much great depth, but you also got Tibbs,
Yeah.
you know? But also they did lose a lot of depth.
Hmm.
Hartenstein and DiVincenzo.
But it almost doesn't matter because Tibbs just doesn't play like his
He
bench players. So
doesn't play his bench. So I mean, they if Tibbs does what he keeps doing, they're not gonna go to the finals because his players are gonna get injured by the end of the season.
yeah.
Like he makes them start breaking down, you know?
Hmm.
Also, shout out Derrick Rose, man.
Oh man. Yeah.
I was
Oof.
gonna say that. One of my favorite players, but dang man,
Do
that's
you
one
see
like,
that? Do you see the video that he posted
no, I
on
didn't.
his social? It's like a I think it was just like a 20-second clip of something of him just like what just like staring off into the sunset and stuff like that. But
It's like
it's like
that's
kind of heartbreaking. I can't lie to you.
it is really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That's that quote is like some like short film, you know, saying sunset. Dude, what's it called? I did Sal ever talk to you about I haven't watched the episode, but did Sal talk to you about the whole night the short film stuff?
He did. He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about that once, like just like loafing in the crib. And it's like, dude, that's something to bring up, you know, because I feel like that'd be good to have on the podcast.
He
Because
did.
I'm out there.
That's exactly what so he was just saying like that he resonated with a lot of like the messages behind the short film. So he liked the new format, number one, but with
Yeah.
him moving to Richmond and like getting a new place and like all of the things that I make the videos on were kind of like applicable to what he was going through and stuff.
Yeah.
So
And I feel like a
yeah.
lot of people at my work, not like I feel like they're in very similar boats too. Not that I don't know if they watch your things or not. I mean, who knows?
They probably don't.
Probably not. But at the same time, like I think it's something that they can probably relate to because a lot of people are not from this area. Like I was so surprised to hear that because I thought a lot of people would want to work close to their hometown, like me and a few other people in the office. But so many people are from like, one from California, so a few are from like New York, some are from like outside, like the outskirts of whatever, like Maryland, like down south of Texas, and like so many people from all these different places all coming to DC to work at, AFS. I'm just like, that's kind of crazy. I thought people would want to work away, like closer to home, but they're all trying to move here. And that sort of thing where they're experiencing that whole thing for the first time.
Hmm.
But also they got to do it indefinitely because they don't know how long they're going to be here for. It's not an internship anymore. It's a job, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. Um,
I mean, I'm in that boat right now, right?
yeah,
Basically,
yeah,
it's a weird feeling. You know what? And you hit the nail on the head with this, like the indefiniteness of it more
yeah.
than anything, right? Because like with school and everything, there was always an end date, and it was like, okay, yeah, well, like this will be over at some point, you
Mhm.
know. And like this is all negative, so
Yeah,
like,
it is a pessimistic way to look at it,
yeah,
but
it is,
I
it
think
is.
it's the reality at the same
It
time.
is. It 100% is. And it's like when there isn't an end date on this and you're sort of just going for like the sake of going because like I gotta make money, right? Like I gotta pay the bills, so
I don't.
um
It's. I was talking to one of my friends, Chloe, going like, man, like I can't. Anikit's the kind of guy when he started work, he goes like, or when I started and when he started, he goes like, yeah, get used to it because this is your next 40, 50 years. I'm just like, why you gotta say it like that? Like, because think about it, like, no more summer breaks, no more winter breaks, no more, random school work days or whatever. And it's literally working nonstop. Like it sounds so terrible to say. And then Chloe's getting mad at me for saying it, going like, you can't say that. Like, you cannot say that. Like, live your life. Because she's actually like a great like independent woman where she's been working for the past like years and years, and she's been doing this for her life, you know?
mhm.
He goes like, I still find ways to have fun. I still find ways to like enjoy like life and stuff. So like you can't be looking at it pessimistically because I've been living in this reality and I still have a great time. So I think it's definitely like a if you want to view the glass half full or half empty, but it's really easy to view it half empty.
Yeah.
Like pretty easy.
Oh, and I'm there. Like just from everything I've
Yeah,
said thus far, you could tell that I'm there.
it definitely has to do with work, culture, one, and content too.
Content for me, it's the content. The
Mhm.
culture is fine. The culture, it's all young people, and they're all like, we're all in the same boat, so we're all like struggling together. But some
Yeah.
people like people. Okay, the thing with my job, right? And I kind of touched on this a little bit in the last episode, but like the job is project manager, right?
Yeah.
To be a project manager, you have to like have some yap in you. Okay, you need to be able to speak, and you have to like interacting with others to a pretty high level. You
Yeah.
saw my schedule, bro. The amount of fucking
Wait,
meetings I'm in.
dude, did you bring it up last
I
podcast?
don't
Like,
think I did.
dude,
Let's show the
one of the
viewers.
craziest things I've seen. I've never seen a schedule that packed.
Yeah, yeah. So like, I don't know
Like,
if you're gonna see
oh
that.
my gosh, it's literally overlapping. I don't even know this was possible. It also goes before 9 and after 5.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
insane.
and it's like, I have work to do, like outside of these meetings.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of work to do, right? Because
Yeah,
all these things.
because so that's my point here. Like with the project manager role, the role itself is almost like you put out as many like little fires as possible because there's always something that's going to pop up, right? Your job is to understand a whole project timeline and make sure that the people that are doing the work, the majority of the work, obviously some of it comes to us too, but
Yeah.
doing the majority of the work are doing it on time and making sure that they're hitting their tasks on like a specific timeline,
Hmm.
right? um you probably know what like Jira is and like all the sprints
Yeah.
and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
This company is so archaic that they don't have that. I brought it up to someone the other day.
Really?
Yeah, I brought it up to them. They were like I was explaining like Scrum and like Agile and all that stuff, and they
Yeah.
were like, oh yeah, we use OneNote for everything. I'm like, you use
That's so crazy.
Rian? We take agenda notes and we track tasks on OneNote. Okay,
That's
do
gotta
you
be.
understand how insane you have to be
You have
to
to have like there's no machine sort of like thing that's double checking it. It's just OneNote.
it's
Like you
just
have to just
text.
there's so much room for human error at that point though.
Yeah, and it's like so inefficient, bro. Like there's no shot a company this big as Epic is not doing anything. There's no
It's
framework for
also
like,
Epic. Yeah, you work at Epic.
dude, that's
Like
what I'm saying. This is like a huge company, bro. There's no fucking shot that we
so
worked in this
crazy.
archaic of a system. Anyway, don't get me started. It's like point is the personality that goes into this sort of role is someone who really feeds off of that mentality of always wanting to do something, right? And always not in like a sense of like getting better, but in a
Mhm.
sense of like they just keep going and they find validation in just keeping going, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's more like it's a stimulation thing more than anything. Like they
Mhm.
have to be stimulated at all times. Brother, I chill, like I'm cool, right? There's nothing on this wall right now. You see this blank wall, right? That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
I like my peace and quiet. I watch football on the weekends.
Yeah.
Can we just breathe for a second?
Must
Like,
be cool.
and
So
it's like that. And I'll let you get to it, but like,
yeah.
it's that type of personality um, that doesn't succeed in this role. Someone who is like, and I had a feedback session the other day, and then there's a sentence in there where my team lead is my boss. He
Mhm.
was saying like Nikhil excels um, in the complex tasks and finding creative solutions to those complex tasks. And he can improve and further improve by finding effective solutions for the simple tasks, which right
Yeah.
off rip is like the most Nikhil thing you've ever heard in your life. Okay. Like, it's like,
It's like we're thinking too in depthly now that
yeah,
like things are that simple. It's like how I like fill a coffee cup or something, you know?
no,
It's like
literally.
there's
Yeah,
fun ways to like do it from like backwards, you know?
exactly. Exactly. So like, and this just comes from like what we did in college and like the fact that I have 2 degrees and at least the nature of the work that I was doing for both of those degrees, right? Where we've been so in the weeds this whole time
Mhm.
of just like coding languages and understanding like databases and the biomechanical elements of all of it. We're at a very high level to where we're not even thinking about like, hey, what does like like the most basic thing. I can't even come up with it. That's the thing. So I've almost had to rewire myself for this fucking job. Is the way to describe this, and it comes at a cost. I'll be honest. Um,
What's that cost?
more time, more time, and like this unhappiness that I generally have.
That's
Right.
crazy. Yeah.
So more than anything, it's like you can I don't get the most amount of validation from being in like these meetings and like talking to everybody and having to lead the meetings because that makes me nervous. I don't fucking hate presentations, bro. I cannot do them, right? I get like way nervous and I freeze, which is so hilarious because I have thousands of followers.
I was gonna say like you literally were like you gave like the most sentimental speeches to Vero to make sure like yo
Yeah,
get your shit
because
together.
it came from the fucking heart. And then I'm expected to give a presentation on Monday, and like I have like an hour to present, like to prepare for this.
And that's so that's I dude I was talking about well we were talking about this at work like the people that um what's it called? People that enjoy the work they do are living six times like six times. I don't know how they measure this, like they call it a happiness measurement, but they live six times happier lives than a person that doesn't like what they do, you know? I don't know. I'm wondering how they got the six number. But
Yeah.
that apparently it's supposed to be true. And the retention rates and all those sort of things. And like that's why consulting is kind of interesting, where you can go from like a project that you don't like to a project that you like. And
Mhm.
um, but the thing is, you have to be on a project. You don't want to be benched. You don't want to be not doing work. So this whole thing with consulting is like you can like your work sometimes and then not like it sometimes. So this whole thing about retention rates super interesting because a lot of people would maybe leave within their first few years there. So the company themselves has to do a pretty good job of making sure that they get some sort of tasks that they enjoy. But at the same time, I feel like I've heard it's 50% work and 50% people. You can't not enjoy the people that you work with because you're spending 8 hours a day with people. You can't
Mhm.
not, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like it has to switch now. To like it's if anything, it's switching now because of all this remote stuff. Most people are working from home. So like do they enjoy with their team? Yeah, but how much are they really engaging with their team? Does that really matter as much today?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
And
Because I'm
you know
really trying
what?
to
That's a very interesting perspective because Epic is a very in-person oriented company. They value it so high. That's why I live here, right?
yeah.
Um, 5 days a week, there is no remote work. None,
And that's
right?
so crazy.
Yeah, none. And the thing is, a lot, and like my customer is a customer in, the New England area, so the
Yeah.
Northeast Americas. Every meeting we have is on Teams. It could easily be a remote job. I could easily do this job remotely.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this at one point,
We
but
did.
um, Epic is like the company values in-person interaction so much.
Mhm.
And there's a point to it, honestly. You see much more work getting done when you do it in person. And as project managers, like our role travels a lot. And the travel is mainly to your customer and back, right? Um, I'm going there on the 21st, which is my birthday. But I'm going there.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a lot of just like
Hey, where are you going?
Providence, Rhode Island.
Oh, for your client. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that'll be fun. New
Yeah.
city.
I'm gonna be on the East Coast again.
Yeah, yeah.
Rip your
Point
face.
is, with this role and with everything that goes into it, it's a very like you have to be in it, and you have to be in it for the people and in it for the interaction. And you have to like really love the project management side of things. Like really love taking ownership of a timeline and a project and all these stupid ass words that I hate saying, you know?
All these acronyms.
Oh, not even acronyms. It's like management and orient no, not orientation. Timelines
Yeah.
and uh productivity and efficiency
Buzzwords and
and
all
like
this.
circle back to this and we
Yeah.
can review this and just bring this to this meeting. Like, motherfucker, I'll build your application for you, dog. Just give me the fucking instruction manual and I'll do it for you in a month. God damn, we don't need all of
Fix it.
this.
That's all you need.
Yeah, bro. And like that's what I'm fucking good at.
Yeah, for
So for
sure.
me, it's like there's no opportunity for me to actually use that skill.
Mhm.
I'll be honest, I forgot what we were talking about. I went on such a big tangent about my fucking
Oh my
job,
God,
bro.
dude. But like, for some reason, it got me thinking to this whole thing about. Remember, we were talking about changing your mindset
Yeah.
about. I started saying this one thing. not started, like I remember I had a friend that used to say this and I started saying it then and I forgot about it. But then I started saying it again after that conversation about like building good habits, changing our perspective. But
Yeah.
you wake up saying it's a great day to have a great day.
Hmm.
And I feel like I love that saying. Like it's a great day to have a great day, you know? Might as well make it a great day. And I feel like it's hard sometimes to do that if you just sincerely can't enjoy what you do.
Yeah. No, it's
Like it's
very true.
right here, like an example right here,
Hmm.
Like, you don't want to feel like that. I'm sure you don't.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah. So
So
it's a weird dynamic in that sense, right? Because you can sit here and I've definitely tried, like I've probably that exact quote I've tried like in the mornings and stuff to be like, yeah, it's a great day. Let's go have a great day. And there will be something from the
yeah,
hours of like 10 to maybe like 1. There's always something. Okay. Um, that just like it just kind of it fucks with you and you sit there and think about it and it's like, damn, I could have done that. Or damn, like I wish um or that meeting didn't go well, or like that presentation didn't go well, or oh, I
yeah.
forgot like this small thing. And um,
Do you think you
it's
get over it?
I don't know. That's the thing because the job is only going to get worse. The job, like expectation, not expectations, deliverables are
Mhm.
only going to increase. The more you spend, the more time you're here, the more you're expected to do.
I see.
Um, and the nature of the work is not going to change, right? It's all going to be this sort of management and top down
Yeah,
yap more than anything.
yeah.
So we'll see
Uh,
what happens.
yeah.
Um,
It's gonna be, I was gonna say it's gonna be like like a definitely like a work in progress for you to find ways to make it better, because I'm sure it's already like that now, but also like with it being somewhat discouraging in some ways, in the ways that you're describing, it's got to be like, oh, did I do this wrong? It kind of like goes not hand in hand, but like what's the word? Like it kind of like over like not overdoes it, but like it highlights it a lot more. That sort of feeling of like overthinking almost. Like it just
oh,
yeah,
definitely, definitely. And along with the job, and I think this is an Epic specific thing, but it really does feel like there's like eyes on you at all times with
really.
like from your manager, from your TL, or from your boss and whatever. Um,
Dang.
because there's almost like a constant measurement of how you're doing, right? And this could just be me overthinking and like totally blowing it out of proportion. It probably is. I'm being honest, but there's that element of it too, right? You don't want to be bad at your job
Mhm.
towards anybody. More for me than anything. Like I don't want to consider myself bad at my job, and that's what really eats me alive a little bit here. Is that like I know I'm good at like what I am good at, but the
Yeah,
fact that we're not using that for this job makes me like not as good at it as I want to be.
yeah.
And that bugs me more than anything.
That does mess with you because like you don't want to. It's almost like you don't want to be a liability. Like I remember, I can like relate this to like dance almost, right? One of the reasons I wanted to become better is because I feel like everyone else was better than me, and I didn't want to be a liability to somebody, especially
Mm-hmm.
like, I think when we're trying to achieve something.
Yes, bro.
So,
Yes.
I mean, for the people that do work, I guess I can talk about like that first of all, right? Like I wanted to build myself up, but being in that position where I was able to recognize that some people might have felt like that. I was like I've always wanted to let them know that like they're loved, you know what I'm saying? Like they're still loved by like as much as they might feel like they're a liability or they're dragging on the team or whatever. I know I felt that same way. And like if they ever came up to me or I ever came up to them, like I want to let them know like the love that I have for them trying, you know? Like, you're doing better. I would have wanted to let them know like you've gotten so much better. You've got like this is happening, that's happening, right? And I don't know if it's the same sort of culture that's over there, like where you don't want to where they would validate you almost. And it's almost like I've always pondered this sort of like philosophical question, like the concept of like reassurance and validation and like how important is it? Like, do we need it? And do we need it? Because we always talk about like how things should come from within, you know, but we always want to seek it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's
It's
interesting.
a self-confidence thing more than anything, and it's an individual thing at that too, right? So there are a lot of people who are very headstrong and don't need it because they are very headstrong and they don't really care about the opinions of others, right?
Uh-huh.
So at the end of the day, like your need for validation or one's need for validation is solely dependent upon um one's you know
Care.
care. Yeah, like how much you care about another person's like anything, not
Uh-huh.
just their words, but like How much do you give a fuck about somebody else? Right?
See, the thing is, like, I've always heard that you shouldn't be giving a fuck, you know? You should not, because if you
Yeah.
aren't, and you're focusing on what you know you need to do.
Hmm.
But the thing is, like, the same time, would someone want validation because they want to know they're doing a good job so they can continue that?
Hmm.
But like, would they not need it because they just know that they're shit anyway? Like, look,
Yeah.
they are the shit. They are like doing like what they can. Like, they don't need that validation. Like, I know I'm doing well. I don't need someone to tell me that, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And I think, like this is kind of a really bare bones way to describe, but like, if you, okay, you're not on TikTok, but
Mm.
there's a lot of kids, like high school kids
Yeah.
who are like, they have like a girlfriend or something and then they get broken up with and then they just become fucking gym rats like right after, you know? And
Yeah.
it's like she broke my heart, like, how could you do this to me,
That whole, oh my gosh, I know
and it's
exactly.
like it's like a skinny. He's not like skinny or like overweight or anything, but he's just like dainty.
Yeah,
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 but
yeah.
during the
Yeah.
relationship,
Yeah.
you broke my heart. How could you? And then it's like a transition to him just being jacked as fuck. Like afterwards, and like he lost weight, but the weight that he lost was his fucking girlfriend or something like
Oh, that's actually like
that.
actually that is kind of high school like, but like I like know about the
You
whole thing.
understand the point? So,
Yeah, yeah,
like the my point with that is this: like a lot of the times, people just need something that like stimulus to just go and fucking do it for themselves.
mhm.
And once you have that one event, now obviously not getting broken up with, let's it shouldn't be that, but
Yeah,
once you have that event, it's like now you're doing it for yourself,
yeah.
right? And like those kids are doing it for themselves, right? Because it helps them understand their worth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
I
there's
can I get that stance, and I want to like take that stance too, like where I don't want to say that I need any sort of reassurance or validation because I want to like have it come feel from within, you know?
Mhm,
That feeling from within needs to like be overpowering to anyone saying anything wrong about me, you know, or right about me for that matter, because you can't play both sides, you know? Like
mhm.
you can't play like one and not play the other. You have to play both sides, you know? So I mean, I agree with that stance in that standpoint.
Definitely, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Dang. Is it time?
yeah. I think, dude, I think we're a little over, but yeah, yeah.
Dang. Oh, that mess. Dang. Okay,
No,
that's
I
cool.
didn't. I didn't time it this time. I forgot to time it. So
Oh,
I don't.
I
I
feel
don't
like
know. We'll see.
we're probably like also Aniket told me going like, you know what I think you guys need to do? I think you guys need to shorten the podcast. I'm just
Really?
like, yeah, but also like it is what it is, you know. If it is for like 45 minutes, then it's 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But he goes like, ain't nobody gonna watch an hour-long podcast. I'm just like, yeah, okay, fair, whatever. You can watch it if you want, you know? Like, go ahead. Um, but like again, like I guess we are shooting for like within 45 minutes to an hour anyway. Like if it's between like 45 to an hour, we're good.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
mean, we've said that and we've overshot an hour every single episode
Every
thus
single
far.
time.
So,
Yeah. You guys overshoot an hour last time too.
oh shoot, yeah, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
But like 1 minute, but like
My
yeah,
1 minute. It's
yeah.
still over though. It's still over.
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess is that a wrap?
I think it's a wrap. Yeah, yeah,
Well, did we use I feel like I used my head today. I feel
yeah.
like
No, oh, we definitely did. This might be the
yeah,
most we've.
today we definitely used our head. I feel like
Yeah.
this was a conversation where we had to use our heads.
Oh, definitely, definitely. That was a very philosophical end to this episode. So,
You know, I love that. I want to take that route at some point, you know, down the podcast where we're talking about things that are just deeper, you know, because
mhm,
people know me, they know I get deep, you know. So I guess that's a wrap though.
for sure. All right.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the next episode.
Yep. Peace. Peace.
Peace.